Certainly the best.
And we are live. Top of the morning to you. Welcome on board. This is This Morning on ITV. We're live here in Edo State, Nigeria. Thank you so much for always staying and joining us every single day on the morning breakfast show. I am Anuluwapo Stevens here with Harry Igboje. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning.
How are you nodding your head? You're expecting something different.
Actually, anyways, let me reserve that. Good morning to you. You look gorgeous.
Thank you so much, and you look great yourself.
Gracias.
So during the course of this bit, we'll also be joining our colleague in Lagos and in Abuja, where we have in Abuja, we're going to have Charity Tanko, and also hopefully we have Patricia Gabriel joining us live in Lagos this morning. So a lot of things to talk about. But earlier this week, we saw a protest in Abuja where retired police officers staged a protest to the force headquarters to demand for payment of their pension. Now, to put it out there that this is not the first time we're hearing and seeing cases like this, but the question is why? Imagine spending all of your youthful years in service, and then at the end of the day, you come out, you retire, and it's really difficult for you to leave. Why? Because your pension is not being given to you as at when it ought to, and there is little or nothing that is even coming into your hand at that moment. And mind you, a lot of persons like that would have children to feed, family, wives, uncle. In Nigeria, where we still have the black tax, you know, operating by the side. So it's a whole lot, Harry.
Yes, it is. The Holy Book says, "He who does not eat, let him not. He who does not work, let him not eat." So, in all fairness to them, it's only proper that since they've spent the better part of their lives, you know, serving the nation and of course protecting lives and property of citizens, they should get what accrues to them. But it is unfortunate that we live in a country where you give in your very best, you know, invest so much time, energy, performing your task, and of course living up to expectation, only for you to get to the point where you should actually start reaping the fruits and of course enjoying the fruits of your labor, and then you're told that you're not going to get it yet. And it's crazy because these people have actually done a whole lot. They've sacrificed their lives. Many of them, in fact, not all of them that started out, you know, is in this protest right now. Some of them are dead and gone, you know. So it's only fair. It's only fair that they get what they deserve. But it's really unfortunate. But again, let's not also forget that some of them are part of the reason the nation is the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're sounding like a typical Nigerian,
well,
because
I am a Nigerian.
Okay, because when I was going through netizens' fields online, I mean, at some point they went there. They said these are the same persons that would siphon money and be on the road and do all of this and support the government.
Absolutely.
Little did you know that you also have your own fair share of what Nigerians have been facing.
Well, karma is not friendly. Do you understand? It's only a matter of time. We'll all report we sow. You know, we know how these people come out in full force, you know, to resist the people every time they raise an eyebrow, every time they, you know, come out in protest against bad governance. They tear gas them, they, you know, harass them, and all of that. And who would have ever imagined that they too will get to this point where they are protesting against the government? Now, it actually tells you that what goes around comes around. And I hope that the, you know, the policemen that are in active duty today are taking a cue from them. They're learning from them. Because if they don't, they too will get to this point, and then they'll become a talking point as well.
Well, the question is, are they? So from what you said, what I can deduce is it's pretty much a vicious circle.
It is.
Now let's move over now to Abuja and Lagos, where I hear that Patricia Gabriel is on. Good morning, Patricia. Let me start with the lady, because the ladies first, they say. And also Ika Arata, live in Abuja. Good morning. Good morning to you, Patricia. Welcome on board. Please join in on the conversation.
Good morning, Anu. Let me start by saying it's raining cats and dogs here in Lagos.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was so difficult for me to get into the office this morning, but thank God I made it here. Okay, so we're talking about the police retired officers who are demonstrating or protesting for their pension. It is a sad one. I do not understand why their pension wouldn't be paid to them. And if you want to find out what those pensions are, it's a peanut compared to all the monies that we have been borrowing in Nigeria for what we use them for, I do not know. These men have served the country and they deserve to be paid. But like you all say there back there in Benin, okay, they're having their fair share too, because when we are protesting, they're out there pouring us tear gas. But then again, if you want to look at it, it's their job. They must do their job. Once you're on the uniform, you do not have excuse not to carry out your duty. I'm sure some of them wouldn't want to, because it touches them too, it pains them. They have children at home, they have civilians also who are related to them. But then again, once you are posted out there for your job, you must do your job. That's for, you know, tear gassing. But for collecting money from those of us on the streets, that is actually very bad. But if you want to take a look at it, they probably do it because their salary is very poor. I mean, their salary can't even take them home. If I mean, I was discussing one of the police constable, and when he mentioned what he's being paid, it was very alarming. And then I think the federal government should look into their salaries.
Absolutely.
Probably that will help them to stop collecting money from motorists and, you know, people on the streets working on their own. But then again, I have a problem with police. I need to talk about it this morning since we have the opportunity to, you know, talk about the police people. Why do they harass young boys on the streets? Every young boy they see, they stop, they search. And I don't understand. I had to stop one of them one day. I said, why are you doing this? Don't you have a young son at home? I don't understand. It's every young boy that is a criminal. They harass young boys too much, especially here in Lagos. It's becoming very alarming, and the police authorities has to, you know, look into this. Right. So that all that can be stopped, because the young boys are scared to walk around the streets, especially here in Lagos State. I do not know why they do that. They harass these boys, collect every little money they have from them and everything. It's not every child out there that's a 419. Like they will claim, oh, it's 419. It's not every child. I mean, there's a way you want to search them. There's a way you interrogate them, not by harassing them.
Okay,
anyway,
Patricia.
That's for the police. But from Lagos State this morning, we're going to be looking at the insecurity, you know, the terror attacks linked to plots against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we're looking at what are the implications on the coming election, the 2027 election. Is he really being attacked by the killings? This and more we're going to be looking at from our Lagos Network studio. Anu.
Okay, Patricia, thank you so much. Now let me move over to Ikarata in Abuja. I'd love to get your input on what we have been talking about as regards the retired police officers staging a protest to the headquarters, because you are very close to that axis. And also, if you check the front page of the newspaper this morning on Nigerian Tribune, it says that Nigeria's insecurity has reached state of war. What do you make out of this? And I don't know if you listened to a recent interview done by a sister station where Peter Obi was categorically saying that in a sane environment, when brigadier generals or policemen or security outfits or security architecture loses their life, I mean numbers of them, they would have declared a state of war in a sane nation. Now, what do you make out of everything so far?
Okay, I think I know the fundamental thing is that it's quite sad that the narrative given to the killings by politicians, considering what Godswill Obot Akpabio said the day before yesterday, that all these killings are politically motivated and the killings will be ending 2 weeks after election, shows that for the politicians, particularly those in government, any killing that is going on is not seen from the perspective of life, but from the perspective that it is politically motivated. And so they may not be so disturbed. Right? Vice President Kashim Shettima, had been traveling around. Anywhere anybody dies, he goes there. In Borno, he was in Kebbi day before yesterday. Anywhere anybody just died, he will be sent there to go and say, we share your pain, we feel your pain, and all of that. I think the fundamental thing is for government to understand, like I keep saying here, Section 14, 2B, says clearly in our Constitution that the primary purpose of government is the security and the welfare of the citizen. That's the cardinal issue why government exists. The welfare issue, there's hunger in the land. The security issue, we are seeing killings are going on. And Akpabio is saying, as far as it's concerned, these are politically motivated killings, that politicians are not happy with President Tinubu, they want to derail him. That was the same lie they told Goodluck Jonathan when the Chibok girls were taken away, that all this, we are tied to stopping you from winning. And that's what the APC put pressure on Jonathan. But now when pressure comes, you see persons not want to take it. But I think those in government and those in the security agencies, the service chiefs and others just need to wake up and do what is needful. But Anu, if you will permit me some latitude here, what we discussed earlier about the police pension scheme, let me tell you why they are very bitter here. The police was removed from its normal conventional pension that our parents are in and taken to contributory pension scheme, and they were kept there while their colleagues in the army, the DSS, and several other agencies still exist in the conventional pension scheme. Now, some of them are going home with a meager sum of 50,000 naira, some 40, some that, while their contemporaries in other security agencies are taking over 600, 700, 800,000 naira home. And what makes the police all different is that there was a dubious twist where the IGP removed his name from that pension scheme. The DIGs were removed, the AIGs were removed. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Why should the IG take himself away that this pension scheme is not good for me as IG, it's not good for the DIG, it's not good for the AIG, but it is good for other policemen? That is why they are on the street saying, look, if you guys could go back, even without changing the Police Act, to remove yourself, why don't we also get removed? When you see your friend, my father is a soldier. What my father earned, or has been earning since he retired from the army voluntarily in 1986, is far more than what most police retired as a corporal. The question now is, how best can we run a system like this, where we see severe inequality, where don't take themselves out of the pension scheme because it wasn't good for them, but it was good for the over 70, 80,000 persons down the lane. And the question we'll be asking, like what you raised about the policemen collecting bribe and others, it's not only police. If you take from Benin to Abuja, the military guys collect. They collect from trailers. That's the truth. You see them collect from trailers. Why the police collect from smaller vehicles? They have shared how they collect this. Police don't touch trailer. That one is for the military. The other smaller vehicle they touch. Why some of the transporters, they don't even stop transport vehicle, the main non-transport. I asked why. They say those ones have settled at settled. That means the transporters have a way of settling and block to the others. So any vehicle that is a transporter, a non-transporter, branded vehicle, they don't touch those ones because they have settled somebody somewhere at the top. Why they now look at the Anu, the Adoje, the Patricia, and the Atta who drive in Corolla, particularly Corolla, they will stop you, bring your family out, and be looking for what does not exist. I think it's all about the deep rot in our system here. But we just pray that the policemen are taken out of that pension scheme. If you can take the army out, take DSS out, take some other agencies out, then take the policemen out, or bring the IGP back to the scheme, the AIG, the DIGs, let them come in, so that when they come in, they will all sweat it out together, and they will know what is good. But generally, by and large, from Abuja and Anu, we look at the worsening insecurity in the land. So much killing of security personnel. Yesterday we saw of Edo-born Hussaini Abramo in Maiduguri, and as well as several others that were killed. We know about the one that happened in Kebbi recently, where about 13 persons were killed, 9 of whom are soldiers, the rest are police personnel here. We're asking the question, now that they are killing the persons who are to secure us, the fundamental issue is what is wrong? Are we really safe? Are we losing it? And tactically, the question which we'll be asking our guests here is the issue of intelligence gathering. Those days we had the NSO, now we have the DSS, we have the DMI, we have the states, the first CID, we even have some CIDs at state level. What is the infiltration level? How come these guys are coming out all out and are killing at will, escaping with nobody being brought to book? So that's the sad irony, and we pray that we're able to get this discussion on and get the public, and also hope that government doing the needful.
Absolutely. Well, great analysis, I must say, Karata. And just to add my own 2 cents, that it's a systematic problem we're facing on the country. Thank you so much, gentleman, and the lady will join you shortly. So it seems to us right now in Nigeria that if we're not talking about insecurity, we're talking about politics. Well, here in Benin, our main focus would be to review the ADC National Convention and extray rising issues, because within a couple of hours after the convention was held in Abuja, we have been seeing persons being suspended here in Edo State. At some point, we heard that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar also got suspended, even though we also did hear that it was just a media stunt. And interestingly, yesterday, Atiku Abubakar was on a sister station and was analyzing basic issues. So we'll talk about that. But away from politics and insecurity in the country, we'll also turn our attention to the National Human Rights Commission, as they recently received or released a record that says that 659,617 violations were actually experienced in the first quarter of this year, 2026. So we'll take a look at that and see how we even got to that big number. All of this and more right after this break.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at a couple of national dailies this morning. We'll begin with the Guardian newspaper. On the major headline, it says, fresh concerns over funding risks Nigeria's public debt hits 159.28 trillion naira. You get details of this story on page 6 of the Guardian this morning. Well, away from that, Dangote, Pope, Trump makes time 100 most influential people on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. ADC crisis deepens as Kachukwu slams NBA over no court stance. Nigeria orders to negotiate $11.7 trillion debt, $920 billion servicing costs. Now, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, Keyamo laments $2.5 billion maintenance costs as United Airlines records 5th bird strike on page 4. 2027, Atiku rallies opposition as APC defends processes on page 6. Well, interestingly, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning, we have pictures of soldiers as we get to have a feel of what happened yesterday, as it says that the late Brigadier General Hussaini Brahima, the Captain Michael, and a host of other gallant soldiers who paid the supreme price in line of duty during an attack by terrorists in Borno State were laid to rest at the Mai Malari Cantonment Cemetery in Borno State yesterday. Well, may the souls of the departed rest in peace. Amen. Now, moving away from that, 2027, CSOs set agenda for candidates, demand SDG-aligned manifestos. Now, that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. I think that's all we have on the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, let's shift our attention to This Day newspaper. And this day is leading with two major headlines. The first one says, Atiku, Tinubu can't win free, fair election in 2027. Atiku, Tinubu can't win free, fair election in 2027. Excuse me. And of course, the next one says, Yilwatda, ADC others should put their house in order. Yilwatda, ADC others should put their house in order. And right under that, ex-VP says 2027 will be his last shot at presidency. Ex-VP says 2027 will be his last shot at presidency. Well, who is the ex-VP we're talking about? Well, you might need to get a copy of This Day newspaper to figure that out. And right above the masthead, this one says, Gulf crisis, IMF plans $50 billion support for Nigeria, other vulnerable nations. It's actually very funny that Nigeria is considered a vulnerable nation, given our giant of Africa persona. Gulf crisis, IMF plans $50 billion support for Nigeria and other vulnerable nations. And of course, still on This Day newspaper, right under that particular headline, oil prices stable at $95 as U.S.-Iran talks raise hope. Oil prices stable at $95 as U.S.-Iran talks raise hope. And next to that says, war very close to over. And that's credited to U.S. President Donald Trump. War very close to over. That actually raises hopes, and we pray that this war comes to an end, because just like the popular adage says, when two elephants fight, the grass underneath suffer. And then this other one says, Iran's military threatens Red Sea shipping if U.S. blockade continues. Iran's military threatens Red Sea shipping if U.S. blockade continues. Now, this sounds like a contradiction of the statement credited to the U.S. President Trump, where he said that the war is very close to being over. Anyways, that's all that we've got on this day newspaper.
Okay, the Vanguard newspaper is up next. This time around, it's leading with amend the new tax law, PIA, Electricity Act now, NESG speaking. Well, subwriter says, definition of small businesses in Tax Act should align with definitions in CAMA Act. Identifies need for state legal frameworks to foster collaboration with DISCOs. Arts amendment will foster enabling business environment. Power Up Nigeria, OGSPAN backs NESG. Away from that, Middle East crisis, IMF plans $50 billion lifeline for Nigeria. Others on page 20. NCAA certifies Enugu International Airport on page 11. ACF raises alarm, says insecurity has reached state of war. Subwriter says 6 soldiers, woman killed in fresh Boko Haram attack on military formation in Borno. 2027 is my last attempt. Nigerians should trust me. Who was speaking? Atiku Abubakar. Well, remember during the start of the show, I said he granted an interview with a sister station and said a whole lot of things. So that we're now picking out headlines from what he said. Do you think this is right, or is just a political statesman? Now, mind you, this man has been running for the post of the president for as long as I can remember, and he's now given one of the American, is it Martin Luther King, who eventually got in, into the system. What do you make out of this? Do you think he's correct? And should Nigerians hold him by his word?
Now, this is particularly funny because I remember the first time something like this actually went viral. I think that was when it was first rumored that he said that he was not going to run for election anymore. And he was very quick to dismiss it, you know, saying that he doesn't know where all of that was coming from. Okay, so he doubled on his stance that he wasn't going anywhere and that he has good intentions for Nigerians, and he was going to keep contesting until he got it right. But it's actually funny that he's saying now that this is his last attempt at the presidency. The question is, what changed? Is it that reality is suddenly beginning to set in, and he's beginning to see that, you know, he probably doesn't stand a chance after this particular shot? Well, I guess Nigerians will have to figure that out.
And then again, maybe he feels he's going to be given the ticket. But what if he doesn't get the ticket in the ADC? Wouldn't we see him run again in the next election aside 2027? At the end of the day, it's politics, really. Now, away from that, let's still move back to the Vanguard newspaper, where we have another interesting headline that says, annual flood outlook, floods to hit Bayelsa, Delta, Adamawa, Kebbi, 29 other states. The federal government alerting state governors already. Now let's hope they are being proactive with their activities moving forward, as we eventually are already in the rainy season. Federal government drops terrorism financing charge against ex-AGF, Malami, and Son. Now, is that all we have on the Vanguard newspaper? Still on the front page, it says Nigeria not at war with itself but enemies. Who was speaking? Information Minister Idris on page 8. Dangote, Pope, Trump, others named in Time 100 most influential people for 2026 on page 20. Now, finally, on the Vanguard this morning, Nigeria's inflation rate rises to 15.38% after 11-month decline. Well, that's all the Vanguard have in stock for us today. Harry?
And next on our radar is the Daily Sun. And on the Daily Sun is this screamer that says, insecurity escalating to war situation. Insecurity escalating to war situation. And that's credited to Arewa. And right under that, rising terror concerning, and that's credited to Afenifere. And still under that particular headline, U.S. lawmaker demands Matawale's removal, and that will be found on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And right above that, airlines to shut down operations April 20th, over 300% jet fuel price surge. Airlines to shut down operations April 20th, over 300% jet fuel price surge. And still on the Daily Sun newspaper, 33 states FCT face high flooding, FG1s. 33 states FCT face high flooding, FG1s. Osun, Enugu, Kogi, Adamawa, 6 other states risk cholera over flood. And that's really concerning, and I think the affected states, people in the affected states should do the needful and be proactive, just so it doesn't get to a point where everyone is running helter-skelter. And still on the Daily Sun newspaper, Governor Mba, transformer and entrepreneur, says French ambassador. Governor Mba, transformer and entrepreneur, says French ambassador. And next to that is 2027, my last in presidential contest. And that's coming from former Vice President Atiku. 2027, my last in presidential contest, Atiku. And then NNPCL must account for 210 trillion naira by April 29th. And that's coming from the Nigerian Senate. NNPCL must account for 210 trillion naira by April 29th. Senate insists. And finally, on the Daily Sun newspaper, APC Chair Yewatda replies David Mark's claim on Tinubu running one-man show. APC Chair Yewatda replies David Mark's claim on Tinubu running a one-man show, and that can be found on page 8 of the Daily Sun newspaper this morning.
We'll wrap up with the Nation newspaper this morning, leading with politics. As it says, ADC presidential ticket tears Atiku, Obi, Kwankwaso apart. Subwriter says Momodu Tanko clash over primary. Nephew Bala writes of convention. Okay, away from that. Yelwater, APC in good standing, no fear of implosion, says party chair. Local airlines threaten shutdown over fuel costs on page 7. Away from that, I think we've highlighted basically all of the headlines this morning, but let me just add this one that says tough times ahead, IMF warns. Subwriter says oil price volatility to worsen oversupply gaps, urge Nigeria to build fiscal shields with oil windfall. That's how we get to leave the conversation here this morning on the newspaper review. Do well to pick up any of the copies to stay abreast with what is going on in Nigeria and also in the world at large as regards the Middle East crisis as well. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to the first leg of the conversation as we get to review the ADC convention. Interestingly, on all of the pages of the newspaper, we're seeing reactions and counter reactions from the convention that was held on the 15th of April 2026. Please join us again.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich.
The African Democratic Congress, ADC, held its national convention in Abuja on April 14th to 15th, 2026. Now, this happened amid a leadership crisis, court orders, and of course, venue disputes. Led by Senator David Mark, the convention took place at the Rainbow Event Center in Abuja, where the party ratified a new constitution and expelled factional leaders, should I say factional chairmen this time around. Well, joining us this morning virtually right here in the Jos State, Nigeria is Mr. Roy Oribebo. He is a public affairs analyst that joins live this morning. Good morning, Mr. Roy. Good to have you join us today. Okay, please, can you help us unpack what actually happened at the ADC convention in Abuja during the course of this week?
Well, I'm not a member of the ADC.
Right.
But I watch them well from a distance. But I don't see them doing well because I see them like a group of persons that are confused. You know, one would be thinking by now that we have a very formidable opposition. That we are not saying. The opposition is not opposing anything. It's just a group of persons who want to have a seat for relevance and recognition. That is where I see them. Because if you fundamentally look at ADC as a party, finally they have no direction. As far as I'm concerned, I don't see it as a serious business because there are many intrigues surrounding it. There are different pronouncements coming from the judiciary. Therefore, one would naturally expect them to maintain a study assignment. They went ahead. Let's see how it will go for them. I'm not seeing them as a serious opposition.
Now, when you say you don't see them as a serious opposition, what really do you mean? Is it in terms of how they organize themselves, or in terms of the internal disputes that we have been seeing so far? Now, mind you, some of the chieftains in the party have actually alleged that the ruling party and external forces is actually sponsoring everything that's been going on so far. So help us break that down. What do you mean by not being serious?
No. When you are saying your own party, you are saying it's the external affair, is the party in power that is destabilizing your party. That's a lazy man conclusion. You know, NDC must demonstrate that they want to offer an alternative. What we expect them to be at the front, they be very proactive. Is it the party in power that makes them not to organize themselves? Did you know what the convention, the printing, the mere printing of tag, they were not able to get it right. This as an opposition, we are not able to spend the one delegates. Is the APC that is responsible for that? These are a group of persons who believe that they want to oppose, but they are not willing to oppose. There must be a sign of seriousness from the opposition. You are dealing with a party that is not in power. What naturally is that if, as I said, I will continue to let them know, if the party in power is sitting down, opposition needs to be running. If the party in power is crying, opposition needs to be moving. That is how to show seriousness. That is how to show a sense of direction. I've challenged them to stop calling on the APC. That is the reason why they are not getting it right. In that issue, if they organize and they are aware of where they are heading to, they should be able to get it right. As of today, we don't even know how many factions are in the State, if we have to use a State. As an example, we don't know. Different persons, I think yesterday I saw some persons suspending some of the leadership of the party, the other one reacting as if it's a child's play. And that's the reason why I find it difficult to take them serious.
Now, speaking about those suspension, aside the ones that happened yesterday that we also saw in the news in Edo State, do you think it's just a media stunt? Because we also had counter reactions to it saying it's just a media stunt. Now, mind you, a couple of days ago we saw on the front pages of the newspaper that even the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has also been suspended from the ADC, and of course he reacted to that yesterday. So what do you make out of the whole situation in that regards?
What you remember is that one, they are not organized for progression. I see no reason why they continuously want to distract Nigerians. Why we expect them before coming as opposition to organize yourself to that level that Nigeria will take you seriously. They are looking for an alternative.
All right, Mr. Roy. If I got you correctly,
I want to provide alternative for us. Issues. One, from all the states in the federation, from Adamawa to
all right, comrade. I actually do. I hope you can hear me. But let me ask you this, comrade. Some persons believe that all of this is born out of, personal interest on the part of some big wigs in the ADC, which is not far from the allegation that this crisis is being sponsored by the APC or some the ruling party. Now, do you think this makes sense? Do you think the reason for these cracks that we're experiencing in the ADC currently is born out of personal interest on the part of some of the big wigs within the party?
Of course, the desperation of their party is too high, and that's the reason why I'm not taking them serious. Since I've been when I was in primary school, Atiku started contesting election, and we are still seeing the character like Atiku. They will see interested in the election. We are seeing character like Meji wants to be president, Bakwaso wants to be president, Obi wants to be president. All these have a way of going down to the what, and some persons within the folk there, they have different candidates they are believing in, or different aspirants, as far as the case may be. They are the people on doing themselves, undermining themselves. Not the issue I don't want to hear is that what they call talking about is the party in power. I am not holding brief for the party in power, but they need to be very serious. If you go back to 2015, you will see the desperation. You will see the first attempt from the APC when they were coming as an opposition, how they were able to humble PDP. I believe ADC is supposed to have a case study already. They should follow the roadmap, but they are not doing that. How do you win a national election
when within your ward, there is no state that you don't have issue within your ward level, at the level of who and who is presiding over your party. How can you go to an election like that? And that's the reason why I keep on appealing to them. They must come out as a serious alternative. Nigeria needs an alternative, no doubt, but I'm not seeing that in APC. Very unfortunate that that is my conclusion.
Okay, even though some persons would say all of this really just a mere coincidence, because we saw what happened with the PDP when they were all over the news trying to get their acts right and house together, and we also had conversation as regards the the ruling party feeling some of this, and now the PDP to some people is no longer existing, and now a new bride in the system comes along, and all of a sudden, couple of months after, we are now beginning to see some hitches and loopholes and internal disputes affect the party. Now, some persons would say that perhaps it's not just mere coincidence, but away from that, Comrade Roy, let's move back to the convention. There was no presence of the electoral umpire on the ground that day, that's INEC. Do you think this is going to shape or change the outcome of all of the things that was actually, talked about or highlighted during the national convention?
Of course, it's a constitutional matter. INEC is supposed to monitor their election. Who are they going to be reporting to? Is it not the INEC? INEC is at the umpire body in this election. And by the time INEC is telling you what to do, you are doing something different. You are doing yourself. For INEC not to be present in that their convention is already an issue of concern to some of us who are Democrats. Because I don't know how they want to go about it. I don't know how they want to reconcile the position that INEC is mandated by the Electoral Act to monitor any convention from a political party. By the time APC is now acting as a student, at the same time as the lecturer, at the same time as the examiner, then you begin to wonder, will APC be a judge in their own case? They cannot do that. They cannot eat their cake and have it. That is the point we are making. As far as INEC was not there, I don't know how they intend to maneuver the system. I don't know how they want to reconcile the position. But I am convinced for INEC not to be there, ADC is already due for punishment. And I can assure you that let's wait as the event unfolds what the judiciary will be saying in that direction.
Okay, so just before Harry takes over the baton, interestingly, on the front page of the newspaper this morning, on all over the national dailies, we did see an interesting headline from Atiku Abubakar, where he said that 2027 is going to be his last presidential contest and Nigerians should trust him. That was how a particular newspaper did highlight it. Is this correct in your own analysis with what you've observed so far with the timing of Atiku Abubakar and all of his, actions over the years?
This is not the first time we are hearing such statements from politicians. History have even shown to us that politicians who consistently contest elections don't have anything to offer. You recall a critical example is from late President Buhari. By the time he came on board, we found out that he have nothing to offer. I don't know anything about government and governor. Atiku is a critical example like that we will not take serious. Atiku is just telling us today this is the last time he will be taking a shot of presidency. Let's wait in the next 3-4 years. You see Atiku coming back and they want to contest election. How many politicians are able to keep on to their promises and their position in this part of the world? We have even hearing some aspirants say that we will only do one tenure. Some are saying, just allow. If it is possible, they will tell you that they want to do only 1 month. It's all are just political gimmicks and shenanigans to deceive with the people. Atiku will still come and contest again. This is not the first time we are hearing all this from. Since 1993, Atiku have been very consistent in contesting elections. In short, people keep on saying that any election Atiku did not contest in Nigeria is not an election. Therefore, you have been a recurrent decimal in our political discourse. I doubt if Atiku can keep to that word that this is the last time. I see him going more.
Okay, comrade, thank you very much. That was a funny one, if you ask me. But one of the major highlights of the convention was the suspension of the factional leaders. Now, do you think that's going to have any negative impact on the ADC going forward, to the general elections?
Of course, it's going to have be part of them. What can the righteous do? Once the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? They already have not been with failure, as far as I'm concerned, because they have not been able to get their houses in order. They have not been able to put their house in order. How do you reconcile one chairman supporting suspending national leaders of the party? There was even a particular where they are claiming that a particular leader have been expelled from the party. That's already a bad omen. It's a bad omen. The way and manner they formed the opposition. But they were starting this opposition initially. I told them that the foundation was wrong. You don't just go to a political party and chase those in position, they chase them away. You will agree with me that Nigeria is an unusual place. There are persons that always are available to be used. That means that there are many political keywords in this country who are always available to be used. They are aware and they are alive. They will also come out to be used. Therefore, that was why I will continue to let APC know that they made a very fundamental error in that issue. And it's going to take the grace of God for them to correct it, because now there are many divisions within the APC. As of today, they have over 4 fractions. Different percentages are laid different to the structure. How are they going to win an election? How are they going to? I pray, I hope they will be able to reconcile themselves if possible, but I don't see that happening.
Well, a lot of things to talk about when we look at what really went down at the convention right there in the ADC in Abuja, ranging from the venue dispute. I'd love you to touch that a little bit, because we saw how it was difficult for them to get a venue, a place to have the convention being done. And it also had to, you know, spit out reaction from the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, where he said that they did not write to his office. At the end of the day, we saw a couple of letters, you know, online and offline, of a written application to the Minister of the FCT office as regards getting a venue. Eventually, they got a venue, and we also got feelers that, oh, the place was so hot. So it seemed to a lot of Nigerians that all of this are just orchestrated plans to filter their efforts.
On the strength of that, the venue issue, because they were in a hurry to put this in order, you know, anything have always been in a hurry. They don't observe protocol what they are doing. And that's the reason why the venue became an issue. But if it was deliberate on the part of the government not to let them to have an access, the place where they can gather, to me, I would not subscribe to that. That negates the basic principle of democratic practice. Therefore, if the government of the day was the one who said they refused to give them a venue or to approve venue for them, that is highly undemocratic. I won't subscribe to that. I will condemn that in total. Because you must give opportunity to level playing with political parties. You must allow them to have the right to gather their time. If the government, if it is discovered that there is an official record to show that the government of the day prevented them or made an attempt to make sure that they were not able to get a venue, that I have to condemn that. That is against democracy. I won't subscribe to that.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, you're on to This Morning on ITV, and we have been taking a critical look at reviewing the ADC National Convention that went down on the 14th and 15th of April 2026. We're looking at all of the highlights from the land dispute, so to say, the venue dispute, the internal dispute, and a whole lot more. That has been our main focus so far this morning on the show. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll move over to talk about the futuristic outcomes of the ADC moving forward as we head over to the 2027 general election. Please join us again.
right, welcome back. It's still This Morning on ITV, and we are taking a look at the outcome of the ADC convention that was held on Tuesday. Anyways, we actually want to know the way forward, given all of this development that has taken place. And I want to believe that Comrade Roy Orivaboy is still there. So I would like to ask you this, Comrade. These leaders that have been suspended, don't you see them raising dust somewhere along the line as we approach the 2027 election?
Of course, it's an issue, because it's going to be an issue, a great issue to them. Because those suspended, they don't have the right, cannot participate fully in the party activities because they are under suspension. Otherwise, I hope by now, APC need to immediately go to the drawing board. APC need to immediately go to the drawing board and strategize. They must come back. This is not time for break game. This is not time. It's only a lazy man that will blame it. You know what you are doing. So today I will continue to react. APCs cannot take them serious as of today as an alternative. They must go back to the drawing board if we must take them serious.
Okay, we must take them. They must go back to the drawing board if we must take them serious. But do you see an emergence of another opposition if the ADC's activities are not satisfactory and you do not see them as a formidable opposition to the ruling party? Do you think it's possible for another force to spring up as we approach the 2027 election?
Of course, we have over, as of today, we have over 12 political parties in Nigeria. Therefore, if the opposition can galvanize themselves and say, well, the platform, they call it this is no local favorable, it's not fashionable, it's not healthy and fertile ground for them to congregate, they can immediately look for another political party. In this part of the world, our political parties are not ideologically carried. It's just a mere vehicle. They can quickly run to any other political party who believe in what they believe. It's a mere vehicle and they can use it to come up. But as of today, ADC possesses a serious question mark. They must need to forge ahead, look for any alternative that would be better for them, so that Nigeria will have an alternative to where we are today.
Okay, so as we get to leave the conversation here, on Monday, or should I say during the early part of this week, we had an event held in Abuja where we had a president, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Wike was there at the NRS inauguration of the new building event in Abuja, where they addressed a whole lot of things from insecurity down to the opposition parties in Nigeria. And then the president, in his usual way, made a comic relief where he said he was going to send Akpabio down to the opposition to help them salvage the situation that is going on there. And this is not the first time we're hearing or seeing comments like this come out from the president. And oftentimes he also did say that he is not in support of a one-party system. He's not trying to make Nigeria a one-party state. I would love to get your feel on this.
The issue of one-party state, I am one of those who believe that the ruling party as of today, they are working very hard to put their party in order. Opposition need to also work very hard. Because it is natural once you find yourself in position, you will work very hard to sustain and retain that position. I think that is what is going on. I expect opposition not to be looking at that. Take it to the next level. I'm not seeing it. That is my pain in this country. That oppositions are not proactive. They are not taking it to the next level. They are still operating as if they are nothing at stake. And for the president to be saying that we send Akpabio to them to go and help them, I think that is also it's a good one. It's indeed a comic disposition. But what does that show to you and I? Is that the president is telling them that you guys are not doing enough as opposition. That is what he's saying. That ADC, you are not doing well as opposition. You can do more better. It's a challenge. I expect them to be challenged with that kind of position for the president. You are aware that this security is no longer news in this part of the world. Nigeria is seriously engulfed in insecurity. The highest level of insecurity in the north now, that is what we are experiencing now. from terrorism to kidnapping to banditry, they all reside and domicile in Nigeria now. Therefore, that is the reason why we have been seeking for an alternative, a government that will come and give us an alternative. But we are not saying.
Okay, Comrade Roy, as we get to leave the conversation here, what do you predict? What are your predictions for the ADC as we move towards the 2027 general election in terms of who would clinch the presidential tickets if they are able to field any candidate for 2027 election? Who do you think is even credible enough? From Peter Obi, Rabiu Kwankwaso, Rotimi Amechi, Neris El-Rufai, and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. What do you think would happen?
What will happen is that they are going to face primary. We're told there's going to be direct primary. If the judiciary or the INEC will allow them to feature any candidate, we are told it's going to be direct primary. From there, they will not negotiate within themselves until once of them. But my concern about if the coalition is strictly between going to be the northerner versus the southerner, I'm not going to be a party to that. That's the reason why some of us from a distance we have been watching. We don't want to identify with them. But it's properly defined, because it is not the time that we see a southerner in government that the northerners will quickly come and mobilize our people here and start forming coalition. Despite the failure of the last administration of that Buhari, the matricles and the wherever, they were also people are very comfortable. That they may not to be aware that we have a government that is worse in the history of Nigeria. Now, when Jonathan was here as a southerner, they hurried down and put people together and form a coalition to sit in the southerner. As of today, they are still gagging up. If it's strictly to remove a southerner and bring another candidate, just sincerely will not be a party to that. And I can assure you, we will reject and we will confront them through a ballot paper. This is not time. One Nigeria, we should see ourselves as one Nigeria. Not as it once a particular region is in power, you will not go and constitute yourself as a coalition. You will not come and take some person here so you are forming coalition. All because a certain problem. That is unacceptable to some of us. And that is our point, and we will continue to make it. Until we have a Nigeria all of us will be proud of. We have a Nigeria that all of us will celebrate. Insecurity as of today is something. Hunger does not differentiate whether you are a southerner or a northerner. The hunger in the north is an issue why we are bothered. The frustration is high. The deprivation is high. Therefore, we are looking for an alternative that is not programmed towards this. It has to be me. It has to be Atiku. It has to be Kwankwaso. It has to be Amechi. No, they must come with an alternative, and we will see it. If you are telling me you want to remove subsidy or you want to retain subsidy, you are bringing subsidy back.
Okay,
tell us how we are going to do it. That is the point I'm making. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Comrade Roy Oribebo, civil society activist. Thank you so much for your time today. Already the game is on and the battle line has been drawn. May the best man win. That's how we live the conversation here this morning as regards the review of the ADC National Convention. Now we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll talk about a recent report from NHRC regarding human rights violation in Nigeria within the first quarter of the year 2026, from January up until March. How far have we gone? Join us again.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living.
What is
the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition.
Welcome back. Now, the National Human Rights Commission has reported 659,617 human rights violations in the first quarter of the year 2026 right here in Nigeria, a figure that has raised serious concerns about safety, justice, and accountability across the country. From insecurity to abuse and discrimination, the numbers point to growing challenges for all the Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians living in Nigeria. Now, today we ask, what is driving this surge and what must be done to protect citizens' rights? Well, joining us virtually this morning from Delta State is activist Kelvin Ejimadu. He is the National Human Rights Secretary Commission right here in Nigeria. Good morning, activist Kelvin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning, viewers.
So how did we get here with that humongous figure for just 3 months alone in the year 2026? What really is the issue?
You see, this and many more issues, like I postulated during the NSAS Judicial Panel of Inquiry that was headed by the former Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo. I said the failure of the government to act on the report of the NSAS Judicial Panel of Inquiry will give rise to more human rights abuses going forward. And that was 2020. And here we are in 2026. We are still bedeviled with a lot of human rights violations in all quarters of the country. And this sends a very bad signal to the international community as regards the fundamental human rights of Nigerian citizens and the UN Charter also of human rights. It depicts how we have lowered the bar in terms of human rights infringement from the local government to the state government to the federal government to also security agencies. All sectors, court orders are not being obeyed. Court judgments are not respected. You see different conflicting judgments from various courts. We have a sad system in terms of where our fundamental human rights, as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution, as amended, ought to be protected and respected. But in Nigeria today, they abuse your rights. They still want to intimidate you on it and tell you to even go to court. Because the judiciary has also failed us. Probably before now, they tell you the court is the hope of the common man. But today, even with the judiciary in place, we do not see the hope of the common man being taken to center stage. And like I postulated, until officers that were indicted in that judicial panel of inquiry report is being
taken out to serve as deterrence, nothing will happen. And this idea of when people's rights are being violated, some of them come forward and fight for your right. You say, no, I want to leave it for God. You see, God will not come down to fight for your right for you. When your right is violated, push your case through. Don't get tired. Don't get deterred. Don't get frustrated and say, I want to leave it for God. God is a God of justice. Jesus Christ in the Bible was also an activist. When he got to the temple and saw that they were gambling in the temple, he came out of the school. He saw that what they were doing was wrong, and you saw his reaction. He said, my father's house is not a temple for such gambling and such rascality. Even while in the Bible, he had protocols. Peter was the protocol for Jesus Christ. I also had a sword with him. So Nigerians must learn to stand and defend their right. Not each time. There are some persons that, when the right is violated, one will call them to come forward and give their statement. The next thing, some of them tell you that they are scared. Their mother's pastor said they should not continue with the case. So some will go behind you and collect bribe, and they settle the issue at your back. So it's frustrating from all ends. But this, in the global image, is not good for Nigeria at this time at all. Just how many months going into, and this is what we're having, it's sad, it's appalling. I think Nigeria deserves better and deserve more.
Right. Okay, activists. Now, you are one of the major activists in Nigeria, and I know that you get to handle a lot of cases every single day. What are some of those cases and human rights violations that gets to be reported to your office? And what happens afterwards? Do they get justice, or is it pushed over to the back burner?
Yes, I have a case of police brutality and extortion on a daily basis. Military brutality, some from community youth brutalizing people, some from government agents and parastatals trying to infringe on people's rights. I get a lot of complaints on that on a daily basis. There's no day my phone rings and all of that. I try to settle some within the phone, using my phone to settle that, applying the ADR, alternative resolution, to resolve some of them. But the ones that are out of it, will push that the matter be charged to court by the relevant authorities. And the challenge we are having is, when we initially, this person they'll be agitated, like, I want this case to go on. I want them to know that, okay, I have fundamental human rights. And perhaps after first adjournment, second adjournment, sometimes you call them, they'll first of all pick and tell you, I'm going to church, or I'm at work, I'm going to the market, I don't have a chance to come to court. And before you know it, when you have a matter, and the matter is called upon in court and you are not there, the matter will scratch out from court. Because it takes your president to also give your own analysis and details of what transpired, how it happened, when it happened, and why it happened. So when all of this is happening, you call them sometimes to come to court, you won't see them. So why sometimes they'll go behind you and settle with the police. Some places that their rights are violated, they'll go behind you. When you call them next, they tell you, I've in the local plans, I've left the matter my father said to leave the matter. Let's leave them for God. Let posterity judge them. Posterity will not judge anybody if we don't hold people accountable for their actions and their inactions. And also, the judiciary also frustrates people's effort. A fundamental action you take to court, sometimes it will take 2 years, 3 years for you to get judgment. And when you get judgment also, to enforce this judgment also is a challenge. So the other day that the court granted the 30 million naira to my fellow activist, Omar Lechowore, to take the money I've not been paid to him. So these are the lacunas and the setbacks that affect the fight and agitation for people's rights and privileges.
All right, activist Kelvin. It's interesting how you made mention of the judiciary and how all of this affects them. Now, what do you think the NJC, the National Judicial Council, should be doing as regards conflicting judgments, on the part of the judiciary, where you said that, there are certain times when a particular court will rule on a particular matter and then another court will overrule it. Now, isn't the NJC there, to mediate in matters such as this, such that we don't have conflicting issues, especially as regards judgments by Nigerian courts?
The NJC has been compromised. They dwell more on political matters, political cases, than standing for the vulnerable in society. ensuring that judges who give such judgment are being queried, and sometimes even some of them debarred. You see, when there are no check and balances, and when there are no action, when there are no penalty for those actions, you see impunity takes center stage. If I go out, for example, I rape a minor, and because I believe I can bribe a judge, and I bribe the judge, I'm granted bail, there's no deterrence. Somebody has to see something that say, okay, this man did it, I can also do it and bribe my way through. But when you know, for every action you from every human right you violate, there's a penalty you pay that will bite them to the fiber of your skin. You want to do it, and in that a deterrence to that person. The date the Lekki toll gate shooting, nobody was held accountable. Military violate people's rights. The next thing, they will transfer the military from point A to point B, and they tell you they cannot identify the officers involved. And by so doing, you have also thwarted the effort of the people to demand for justice. So the National Judicial Council, they must wake up from their slumber. Sanction judges that they see that have questionable characters, they should be sanctioned. The ones that also collect bribes should also be sanctioned as well and debarred. Until that is done, we cannot move on as a nation. Now, you see a very clear case with all evidence brought before the court, and some courts also grant bail. There was a matter I handled. A minor of 11 years was raped. We did a medical report. All the medical reports showed that the hymen and the broken rupture was involved, and the minor was raped. The judge granted the suspect bail in the court. I now went to the CJ of my state to demand that this case be transferred to another court. It was transferred to another court, and the suspect bail was revoked. He was sent back. He was handed back to prison. And just February year, I got a judgment for that case. He was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. Imagine when the first judge granted him bail, and he absconded or eloped from the country. He would be nowhere to be found, and they'll tell you that we're still looking for him at large. So our judicial authority must sit up. It's not enough to go and do political cases, because this is the political era. They are all waiting for political cases tribunal cases to come up, and the next thing you see them adjourn cases, but they give the political cases swift judgment. The same way we have political judgment being swift, they should also ensure that fundamental rights issues are taken center stage. We have legislation, we have these laws. They should be tested in court.
All right.
We have the Violence Against Persons Act, Provision Act in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you.
To tell that no man, no woman has vulnerable of violence to inflict harm on anybody, anywhere in the country.
All right, thank you, activist. Thank you.
Every quarter wake up and do that. We break people.
All right. Now, let's talk about your safety as an activist, okay, beyond the life of the average Nigerian. Do you think you're safe, even while advocating for the safety of the average Nigerian? Because we've seen in times past how a lot of activists have been subjected to inhuman treatment just because they were speaking up, for the average Nigerian. So, do you think your own safety as an activist has improved over time compared to the way it used to be?
You see, we've faced a lot of attacks, attempted murder and all of that. We faced a lot of issues, but we are not deterred. You see, the word activism, it means you stand for truth. You correct all incorrectables using every fundamental legal antenna at your disposal. We know that in Nigeria, if you fight crime, for example, crime will fight back. So when you fight also violation of human rights, the violators, the perpetrators of these things, they will fight back. But we are not deterred. My own safety, from the day I pick up my beret, humanity that I want to do this, I know someday, we want that someday. But the when and how, we do not know. Even non-activists, they are assassinated, they're being killed. So it builds on one, the fear factor is nothing. We are like a sacrificial lamb that we know someday this person that we are taking to the prisons, their families are not happy with us. Policemen that collect bribe will retrieve the money back and give to the people. They are not happy with us. We know certain sources, they will plan their evil. But, the universe has a way of protecting people like us. When you want to be a genuine activist, because he that must come to equity must come with a clean hands. You won't say you are fighting corruption or violation of people's rights, and you also you are a right violator. By so doing, humanity itself will fight back at you. But when your ways are just and pure, you do not fear what's coming. Because if God allowed it to happen, so be it. But while we are here, we must make a statement, and the continue to do for humanity remains in the hands of history forever. So I'm not scared of my safety. During the NSAS panel, I was the one representing the youth of the other state in the judicial panel of inquiry, NSAS. We tried out police officers, and I was getting private calls and threats and all from different quarters. Some were even calling me that we know where your kids were at school in private number that were assassinated. I said, he that wants to kill somebody doesn't make a call. If you want to kill me, go ahead and kill. If you get your way, so be. But if you don't get your way, I will come for you and you face the law. So you must take fear out of it. When you see genuine activists going all out, it's the pain and passion we have for humanity. Because at some point, sometimes you see what people go through daily, you can't even imagine. People are being framed up by police, by civil defense, by vigilantes. They hide drugs and keep in your pocket and tell you that you are a drug addict, just all to collect money from people. So my safety, I don't move with security.
Right.
I don't move with escort. I safety in the hands of God and the universe.
Okay, activist. Okay, activist Kelvin, thank you so much. But we really need to take a short break, and when we return, we turn our attention to another major part of the conversation as regards insecurity. Interestingly, on the front pages of the newspaper, we heard that insecurity in Nigeria in a state of war, according to ACF. So we'll look at how the number of cases or the number of human rights violations that insecurity alone has actually grappled out of the humongous number of over 600 and something thousand within the first quarter of the year 2026. All of this and more after this timeout. Well, many thanks for staying with us. We're just joining you onto this morning on 9 TV, and we still have our guest, activist Kelvin Ojomodo, the National Secretary for the Human Rights Congress here in Nigeria, and we have been talking about a recent report that we got within the first quarter of the year alone as regards how many human rights violations we've had in the country, ranging over 600,000. Now, activist Kelvin, if you're still on, the next question would be, how many of these figures are actually linked to insecurity in Nigeria, and also activities from security agents, that's the police, the soldiers, and the likes, because there is no day that passes in Nigeria where on the streets of social media, because for some of us, we get to live there, we see cases of police officers ransacking and having an issue worth not with young civilians, especially the guys. A recent one that also got the IGP's attention was that police officer who stopped a young man on the road, checked his car, got some couple of bags and took him to another corner to ransack the bag. And I think he was also expelled, and the right thing was actually done to him because IGP Tunji Disu looked into that issue. But aside all of that, what are some of other cases that you've also heard over time? Can you hear me, activist Kelvin? Okay, so whilst we're still trying to regain connectivity, can you hear me? Okay, so we'll try and regain connectivity with activist Kelvin, and he definitely will give us his own insight on this. But okay, so it seems we have him back. Okay, so just in case you didn't get the question, activist Kelvin, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, loud and clear. So the question I did ask with this humongous number we heard regarding the recent report of human rights violations in Nigeria for the first quarter alone, that's from January up until March, how many of those figures is actually linked to insecurity in Nigeria, and also the ill activities we get to hear and see from security agencies in the country?
Yes, you see, insecurity has taken a lot of lives as well. Saw the airstrike from the Nigerian airport the other day. We have a lot of civilian casualties. When there are cases of when there are crises in any quarter of the country, women and children, they suffer more because at some point some of them are being raped by security agencies. When the issue comes up, it's being swept under the carpet. And some other quarters, we see children being molested and all of that. And, these are worrisome trend. When you have 59,617 violations of rights in a country where we have senior advocates of Nigerians, where we have citizen human rights activists, we are not in the military room for crying out loud. This is a democratic crew whereby the constitution is sacrosanct, the rule of law takes center stage, and we are battling with all of this. It is not a good record for us going forward. I think insecurity has also increased the level of human rights violations within the country as well. From the north to the south, to the east, to the west, the high level of insecurity is making people volatile to human rights violations. And some are not even recorded. In some quarters where we don't have good internet network and coverage, we don't hear some of these things that happen. Maybe after it happens, we'll not hear a yes say of it. But where you don't have a strong internet coverage and all of that, you don't even hear some of these human rights violations. Even some farmers also, they are being hijacked by bandits, not to even go to their farms. Some they invest, they give the terrorists a large sum of feed and take the money to their family to feed. So in different quarters, there are human rights violations in different quarters.
We really need to go now, comrade. Can you hear me?
And boast of putting mayhem on people and they go scot-free.
Okay, comrade.
Until we begin to hold people accountable for their actions, we cannot move further as a country.
Okay. Now I'd love to ask you this final question: what urgent steps should Nigeria take now to protect human rights in Nigeria moving forward? In 2 seconds, please. Comrade, can you hear me? What urgent steps should the government, should Nigeria take to help, have a better outlook of protecting human rights in Nigeria? Okay, so it seems we've lost connectivity with Comrade, but hopefully we'll have this conversation again and we'll look at, more better issues, and hopefully when we move over to the second quarter of the year 2026, it's going to be all cherry news as regards human rights in the country. Thank you so much for joining us. We now turn our attention and move over to Abuja, where Ikarata is on.
The land of Onwa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtype,
this satellite decoder comes with 4 payment packages, which are namely Nova Bouquet, Basic, Classic, and Super. The price ranges from 2,100 naira to 9,800 naira. We also have the DCC decoder, which is terrestrial decoder, which most people know it as the antenna decoder, and this is 7 naira. Comes with 4 packages, namely Bouquet, Basic, Sick, and so the price ranges from 2,000 naira to 9,500. You may ask, what's the difference between the antenna and the dish decoder? The antenna decoder actually has fewer channels than the dish decoder. Sometimes this decoder we have 90+ channels, cover every genre of entertainment, between sports, sports, documentaries, kiddies channels. So no matter what your interests are, everybody is well represented. There's always something for you to watch on the StarTimes platform. While the dish decoder has over 120, and that is the predominant difference between the antenna decoder and the dish. So if you don't have the StarTimes decoder, now is the time. I would also like to reiterate that StarTimes is one of the most affordable paid TV companies. Even though prices of things have skyrocketed in the market lately, but I'm happy to say that we have been able to maintain our prices for our decoders as well as bouquet prices, very reasonable price.
Okay, let's talk about the content. What special content do you have?
Like I said earlier on, no matter what your interests are, StarTimes has you covered. We have different from entertainment to documentary to kiddies. And for the lineup, we introduced a drama series, Reborn, is on SIE Plus. Okay,
why somebody's wife to sleep in the particularly have to question well and this. Well, go ahead, that's nice.
Okay, so we like to entertain our customers because, believe it or not, you're not just buying the set-top boxes to decorate your house. Right. You're buying it for the content, and content is king when you come to pay TV business. And we have on the screen, which is the ST Yoruba channel. Now, this channel is actually exclusive to StarTimes, and what is so great about StarTimes is we tend to pick international content. For instance, we pick a telenovela drama series and we dub it in the Nigerian local language. We have Gangs of Madila that has been dubbed into Yoruba, and we also have an interesting telenovela drama series that has also been dubbed in Yoruba. So our subscribers can enjoy Bollywood programs as well as telenovela programs in their local dialect, which is the Yoruba. Moving on to, we also have an interesting channel which is called the Discovery Channel. Discovery Channel is basically a documentary channel, and we have 2 interesting documentaries that are airing on this channel, which is called Gold Divers and Filthy Fortunes. Gold Divers is really interesting. I'm sure you might like to watch this one, Miss Ata, because it's basically a treasure hunt. We have miners diving into the sea and searching for gold.
You have miners, and you have gold. The pirates coming like hyenas to steal.
Okay, that is debatable, but it's an interesting documentary series on Star Times. Oh, we also have a wide range of Bollywood series on our platform. And for our Bollywood channels, we have 50 Best Dishes, which is an Indian cooking show. This is basically hosted by an Indian celebrity chef, so you can be able to learn a lot of Indian dishes. If you like curry and grand masala, I'm sure the women would like to get some tips on how to make Indian dishes. Followed by, we also have a wide range of kiddies channels for our subscribers, like ST Kids. The kids are not left out, they are still on holiday, so they have a lot of ST Kids movies and entertainment on ST Kids. For our Bollywood subscribers, we have a wide range of Bollywood channels like ZTV, Z Cinema, Star Life, Star Plus. This covers a wide range of drama series as well as movies. For our subscribers, I know that to keep up with the news updates in our country, we also have a wide range of news channels, which also covers international and local. For sports, our subscribers can also watch the German Bundesliga on our platform, as well as La Liga.
Okay, we're coming to where the men are very happy, but somehow when we grow up during our age, when you hear Bollywood, Indian thing was a bomb.
Yes, it was. Yes, yes.
I wonder what our kids are growing up. But when you see it, sometimes those days we got no channels. It's not just one government-owned channels.
Yes.
And the movie starts around 10 p.m. We all gather, and somebody's at the back of the house turning the antenna and asking you don't clear. That's how we grew up.
I'm so glad those days are finally over and we can enjoy digital entertainment.
Yeah, if you have it, I think the main thing is coming in. Star Times have been able to make it look more affordable. Taking away from the rich. Now we can all collectively work. But quickly, let's move over now. Star Times are diversified strongly into solar power supply. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so on the Star Times platform, I know a lot of Nigerians know us with the pay TV business, but Star Times has diversified because we are an innovative company and we are profiling the solar energy solutions in Nigeria right now. And what is so great about the Star Times Solar is the product itself. That's what makes us different. Our batteries are lithium-ion batteries, which
they are durable?
Yes, they are very durable, they are fast charging.
And trusted. Because once people don't trust the battery, they tell you can do whatever you are doing on solar, but the battery is the problem.
Okay, so I'd like to say that Secure Voltage tomorrow. Solar energy. 15 years now, we're a brand that people trust, and we're bringing that ability into the solar solution to Nigerians, and that is why we're providing top-notch, good products for Nigerians, long-lasting, very durable, and is really trustworthy. And we provide solutions ranging from 3 kVA to any capacity of your choice. We provide solar energy solutions for homes. We provide solar energy solutions for businesses and communities. So it doesn't matter which capacity you want. We are here to provide for you. We have a top-notch after-sales service. We have engineers that we take on free audit. You don't have to pay for pre-audit because that is the first step when you want to purchase a solar home system. Yes, you need a power audit because I'm sure not everybody is well versed in the appliances, the watts, the sizes. So, and that is why you need a solar engineer to be able to come to your house or to your business, to be able to check your appliances and to be able to advise you on what package it is that you need to power your home. This is done basically because we don't want you to overpay, and we don't also want you to underpower your home.
That cost us last time for the bachelors who are getting married. When you are audit for your incoming wife, audit for your incoming children, audit for so many persons, because when they come in here, you know, madam will want to get the kitchen running and get the room remaining cool. Only when she finishes on the kitchen, the power will be on there and others. Can we get your line so that we can reach you? How can people reach you? That's very, very key here. If someone wants to come in from the pay TV or from the issue of the power supply via solar, how would they reach you?
Okay, for your inquiries, you can reach us on this number. It's also a WhatsApp number, so you can send messages even if you don't want to make that call. So 081 723 97880. 081 723 97880.
Okay, the number is on the screen there. You can just take a snapshot. Do that. Now, quickly, before I let you go, let me take your last word. Today I did not push you or put you on the hot spot. Today I'm a good presenter, and I thought Stephanie would tell me thank you. But let's get your last word.
Okay, my last words would be StarTimes is trusted brand. We provide both pay TV solutions as well as solar energy solutions. So for your decoders and for general entertainment, 24-hour entertainment, you can purchase the StarTimes, either the antenna decoder or the dish. And for the solar home systems, we are here to make sure that you should let the sun pay your bills.
Okay, let the sun pay your bills. It's not every time you go for gasoline or you go for fuel, diesel, petrol, and all of that here. Stephanie Aka is the StarTimes Abuja Zonal Marketing Manager, one who is very vast in that, and I've been a friend of independent television and a passionate staff of the StarTimes. And from the thank you for coming with us this morning.
It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. Okay, quickly now, let's take you straight to a brief point of discussion before we hand you over to Lagos. The issue of the advent of military personnel who are
to differences in language and culture. They share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Onwan traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Onwan was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwan. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. Pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The mob of
this directly, this is our grief. Loss is a loss. I speak to it also considered the operation
Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
Also remember their legacy. In honoring them today, we reaffirm our commitment to the care for the families they left behind, to uphold the values they defended, and to continue
we are concerned, our military has not lost the fight, they have not lost the battle in the port of Nigeria. We need to give them the best of intelligence so that they can carry more of intelligence, driven operations.
Hello, Mr. Jonathan.
Go ahead.
Are we supposed to give them intelligence, or they are supposed to have a strong infiltration squad, even if not up to the Mossad, up to the FBI, but one that can penetrate and know the workings of that? That's number one. Number two, even when intelligence is gathered, like the one we saw in Borno that led to the death of Brigadier Brahma, he said intelligence were not used.
One thing is to have intelligence, another thing is to process this intelligence.
Correct.
the issue with respect to intelligence, it's cut across all the, security agencies and other formations.
Correct.
The primary, you know very well that our intelligence agencies, the NIA, the DSS, they have a responsibility to process those intelligence. And again, remember, you have to recall that the primary focus of our military is not about internal security, but about territorial sovereignty of our nation.
Correct.
And that they have been doing it. So the military is not trained to win the war internally. All they are doing is complementing which seems to have withdrawn from the fight against insecurity.
Have they withdrawn or they are overwhelmed?
Oh well, we have seen that they are
the IG will not agree with you.
Well, they should give me the statistics of the numbers of the war that they have fought and the ones they have won. I mean, we have seen issues where the military over time have, been at the front burners of, the fight against insecurity. And it's unfortunate that the police, who is some responsibilities of internal policing, forgot that it is their mandate. So, in as much that they're doing well with coordinations and disseminating informations to some of the security agencies for collaborations, which have, like in the East, in the North Central, having the issues of joint task. We have seen these coordinations, but the issue is that they have left the fight for the military, and not until we have, a concerted fight against the insecurity, where we only have one formation, only having the military left with the fight to fight against these bandits, those guys that are, using our even unarmed resources to fight our own military, our hard. We are fighting and killing our generals. It's unfortunate, and I feel the pains of the military.
But how do we get to that low level? Where the criminals can attack the military base, cut away rocket launchers, cut away magazines, sometimes even go with military vehicles.
When we discuss this on air, not everything will say, but I know very well that the military intelligence and they weigh the response to some intelligence may not be the same way Nigerians respond to intelligence. And again, sometimes not all intelligence may lead to success in operations. But all I know very well is that the military have not lost the fight. It's the same military that have done well with nabbing terrorists across the country, northeast, northwest, north central. They have done well to ensure that we sleep at least with our eyes closed. In as much that it is becoming difficult, but we know very well that with the support of the international communities, all we need to do first region is not protected, and we are living within. Look at it. So this, to have this gas. We want to police our border effectively because it is too volatile.
Okay, thank you.
We must put measures in place. And lastly, let me say this.
Okay.
Nigerians will only have the military they want. And this means that we need to support our military, give the best of intelligence to our military, because when we talk about terrorism, terrorists live within a community. They are brothers to somebody. They are sisters to somebody. They communicate with some individuals. And this is where Nigerians must rise to the occasion to expose those that are threat living amongst us in our communities.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan Isaac. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, security expert. We wish you all the very best and pray that our military and our security agencies will get it right. You said the police abandoned the fight. Let's pray that the police wake up from their slumber and do the needful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. That's how far we can take on that. Now, we now quickly hand you over to our Lagos Network Center for continuation of your Breakfast Darling program this morning on Independent Television.
Network studio from Lagos. Anyways, it is a raining Thursday here in Lagos.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Bishop,
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back. And sorry about the short break. Okay, you were saying something about the current state of insecurity in Nigeria. Please go ahead.
Yes, I was saying that this should be a concern, even to political leaders. Campaigning for 2027 should not be a concern, more than the concerns of insecurity. All right, all political leaders, everybody in that should be concerned about people who are being killed, people who are being kidnapped. Insecure, situation. Nothing works. So I am saying that Nigerians should wake up and give a more concern of security on this president. Thank you.
So, appearing that King recent terror attacks to political plots, how credible are these claims?
Well, been that people, we don't paint things the way they are. All right? Didn't we have insecurity? Did insecurity start today? It didn't start today. We know that this insecurity, it's beyond the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election. And by the way, if that were to be the case, that should have been the reason why we should have seen a more proactive measure from the presidency. I was right there in Bauchi Road in Plateau State while we were waiting for the arrival of the president when what happened, and we waited.
Bishop, I can't hear you clearly. If you can hear me, I can't hear you clearly any longer. I guess your network is having issues this morning. But moving on, if you can hear me, the Defense Minister, CG Musa, also has linked the terrorist rise attacks to political season, accusing some civilians of working against terrorist informants. Is this supposed to be a security concern for Nigerians?
I believe he knows more than I do because he has his intelligence. But my argument is this: no matter the enemy that is spreading this insecurity, whether the military requires to handle it, whether it is political, whether it is spiritual, which means that should be this. But
Bishop, thank you so much. Even though I couldn't barely hear you clearly. But let's move on. Let's look at the implication of the insecurity on the 2027 general elections. General elections. Do you think it will hold people back from coming out to vote?
That is what depends on this. It's as plain as, there is no one that could basically if much the evidence
Okay, let's go back to the Minister of Defense. You know, he also claimed that it is political season. Do you think he has given up, or he just feels, okay, let them have a field day after the elections, everything will come back to normal?
Well, I don't think he has given up at the people. But what I want to say is, all right, what I want to say is, the truth being told, the escalation of insecurity, you know, personally, in my opinion, I don't think I'm not thinking, you know, after election, we say that if an election of give me credit, that insecurity has become a very viable profession, right? It has become a very viable sector. You know, that sector of insecurity, people are making so much money from it. They can now, you pay every sum. That is propaganda. That's the and we witness, you know.
ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Welcome back. It's still this morning. ITV. I still Patricia Uremo Gabriels. We're talking to Bishop James Okocha on the insecurity in Nigeria and being linked to plot against Tinubu. If we can have Bishop on air, please.
Yeah. Of the bottom, we are established to call it Glitch Africa that a soldier came there to speak, and he was talking about receiving a salary of 100 and something thousand. Are you getting it? And such things can demoralize anybody. My point is, whether it is linked to pre-election or election or post-election, there is something we can do to curb insecurity, because it is principle. Security of a nation is principle. In the absence of it, nothing happens. It doesn't matter how many to Brazil, to India, or to anywhere, to your investors, they will not come if there's no security. Economy will die. The people will die. Everything will be stampeded. So what I'm saying is, saying it is linked to this election, well, to be the to living out against them more. If the president knows that this is going to happen, what? Don't you ask? What we are calling proactiveness. The government proactiveness from the security apparatus, proactiveness from traditional rulers, proactiveness from religious leaders, proactiveness from now. It will be as though they are taking laws into their hands. So even the law of the land is not encouraging self-defense. And that's why the people they can do more. You get me? They cannot do more. They are willing to defend themselves. They are willing to do the best to stop insecurity. But does the Constitution allow that? That's what we are preaching. That's what we are pushing. And I know the sitting president, even before he became the president, I was having the same opinion with him, which has to do with, state policing, which has to do with his first year is having happened. Second year, the only thing that is increasing. And I can tell you that when Boko Haram was born, all right, between then and now, you can see the graph is being on the increase, okay? Because nothing tangible has been done. We are event of the is linked up to re-election or no re-election, and people are killing themselves for election or no election. I just think that people have made, insecurity an industry. There are people benefiting from it, and people are.
So much. Let's also look at the 2027 elections. What measures can be put in place to ensure a free and fair elections in 2027 despite the security challenges?
The security challenge there is very primary. But moving from that, let me tell you, what I experienced in Abuja, because I'm right here, I want to witness conventions, party conventions. I don't want to tell stories. I don't want to say what I read on the papers or what I heard on the television. I want to witness what I witnessed during the ADC convention, because I hung around the environment. It's not the way to go to have a free and fair election, because every move was made to hinder that convention, and moves are still being made right now to hinder that convention. It's not right. The people should have freedom of association. Freedom of association is an article in our constitution. Allow people to be in the party where they want to be, have meetings where they want to have, and then boost up performance. That's all. Boost up performance. If I were to be the president, instead of believing in the magic of palliative, which may fail, I would, within this short time left, do some practical development, all right, in the area of health, all right, in the area of education. I will do some things that people can make reference to, and then I stand on that to campaign.
A beautiful morning to you and thanks for joining us on ITV News for this time. I am Harry Igboje. A House of Representatives hopeful for Ego Ikpoba Federal Constituency, Dr. Ogotaye Garrick, under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, has declared his intention as he visited Ward 2 in the Ego local government area Edo State. The meeting attracted party leaders, ward executives, councillors and supporters as he sought grassroots backing for his ambition. Ofura Neto reports.
Addressing party faithful in Ward 2, Dr. Ogotaye Garrick said the time has come for Ego local government area to have strong and purposeful representation at the National Assembly, assuring that if elected, he will attract impactful projects and policies to the constituency. He outlined plans to collaborate with investors and drive development-focused initiatives while appealing to members to support his aspiration.
I want to go to the House of Reps. This is just my declaration in my word. So I'm asking you to send me to the federal, send me to go and work so that we can rebuild this constituency, rebuild Ego, rebuild Ego. My prayers is that you stand with me, spread the gospel that it is Ego o'clock.
APC leaders, including Ward 2 chairman Usaro Osagiodua, described him as a credible son of the soil and urged members to rally support for his candidacy.
We had Ward 2, we had the House of Representatives. Manawe Mafia, Evima Latia, because Oyama Hagbe, Bese, Agwekbe. Our very astute brother, a man of caliber, a son of a God. We, the people of Ward 2, have said it is a God. Time o'clock. Ovima, Ogahia, Etenik Beteniko, Eke ni Maridia Ye, the Mario Boy, Yekewe Azenoriena.
Dr. Garrick said he would work to consolidate on the developmental strides of the Edo state government, pledging to attract federal presence and projects that will complement ongoing efforts in the constituency. From Benin, Ofuri Aneta, ITV News.
A former member representing Ikpoba local government area in Edo State Oil Producing Areas Development Commission at SOPADEC, an aspirant for Ego in Ikpoba Federal Constituency seat, Honorable Felix Osaze Igbenovia, has assured constituents of effective representation if nominated to contest for the House of Representatives seat. He gave the assurance during where he was received by all the 10 ward leaders. Joy Obaisiagbon reports.
On arrival at the party secretariat in Ward 4, the aspirant, Honorable Felix Osaze Igbenovia, also known as Sazi, formally declared his intention to represent the people of Ego and Ikpoba at the Federal House of Representatives in Abuja. He pledged effective representation that will create positive impact for the people.
I'm well prepared for this job, and I stand here today that when given the opportunity, I will give effective law making that will benefit, will create positive impact in Edo South, in Ego, Ikpoba Federal Constituency.
Nominating him by everywhere you go, like MTN, with your support, projecting him, with your support, campaigning for him. We are sure that more than ever, Honorable Sazi, by the grace of God, will emerge the candidate of the All Progressives Congress come 2027.
APC chairman Ikpoba Sonny Ogbewe said the aspirant performed well in the oil industry and would do well if given the opportunity to serve.
He has done well in the oil industry. He has surpassed those that he met, but I can say he's the greatest of it all.
In their remarks, some APC stakeholders, including Mr. Patrick Emokbai, who spoke on behalf of Council Chairman Honorable Eric Osawaro, described the aspirant as a man who understands the challenges facing the people and has the capacity to solve them.
Because of his personality, his kindness towards humanity, even if we don't vote, these are the people God wants to use for this state.
From what has transpired here today, it's obvious that he's well loved in Ikpoba in Ego as well.
In an interview, Honorable Igbinovia expressed gratitude for the warm reception and voiced strong confidence in his candidacy.
I believe the most widely accepted candidate should have it all.
From Ikpoba local government area, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
It was a display of thunderous show of solidarity among members of the All Progressives Congress APC in Orionwo, Nwode Federal Constituency, as Professor David Osaumese Osifo declared his intention to contest for the House of Representatives seat in the 2027 general elections. Oluwafemi Farayola reports.
The event, held at the residence of the local government APC chairman, Honorable Osawe Osayanwere, attracted a large gathering of party faithful, political leaders and stakeholders from across the constituency. The declaration marks a significant development within the APC as Professor Osifo formally joined the race with a message focused on unity, purposeful leadership and sustainable development. Making his intentions known, the APC hopeful, Professor David Osifo, described the constituency's socio-economic challenges as a gap that must be urgently bridged through visionary leadership, integrity and collective action. He stressed the need to move away from politics driven by questionable wealth, advocating instead for leadership anchored on transparency, accountability and service to the people. Professor Osifo appealed to eligible voters to support his aspiration, promising responsive, accountable and impactful representation at the National Assembly.
I have spoken to my people. I have told them my plan. I have not come to flag up because I want food to eat. I have used my personal resources to help them. I just need federal resources to add to it so that I can turn the local government around for good. I want my people to be united. I want my people to come together so that we'll be able to deliver that 3.5 million votes that Monday Okewolo has promised Tinubu in Edo State.
APC Nwode Party Chairman Honorable Osawe and other party stakeholders comment.
Professor David Osifo is sufficiently close to me and he has worked for the party. We are going to create a play-level ground for
Professor Osaumese Osifo is worthy of that position that he's seeking. Because he had the antecedent, very brilliant, very intelligent, qualified to run that position.
The event ended on a high note with resounding endorsements, signaling growing momentum behind the candidacy. Oluwafemi Farayola, ITV News.
And that sums it on ITV News for this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Harry Igboje. TMI Socials is next. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
Independent.
ITV, certainly the best.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as naids are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
Good morning, welcome. This is TMI Socials. I am Anuluakbo Stevens. Or better still call me your social media butterfly. Now, akwaba to all my Ghanaian brothers and sisters. As today we begin in Ghana, where we saw a viral video from Ghana's President John Mahama, where he said that he prays daily for Nigeria to overcome rising insecurity, warning that the country's stability is crucial for the region and the African continent as a whole. Well, speaking at an award ceremony in Ghana, Mahama highlighted the impact of Nigeria's insecurity on neighboring countries, emphasizing that millions of Nigerians migrating could affect smaller nations like Ghana. Anyway, let's take a listen.
Of keen security interest to us. If Nigeria does well, Ghana does well. I mean, when you have cousins, 250 million of them, you want them to do well so that 1 million of them don't come drifting towards a small country like Ghana. So every day I wake up, I pray for Nigeria. I say, God, let Nigeria get their act together. And so I remember when a lot of the people in Ghana migrated from Nigeria. They find their roots from the Yoruba kingdoms and all that. And so the Ghana people and all, migrated from Nigeria. And so
God, let Nigeria get their act together. What do you make out of this? Is this gaslighting or what? We'll find out. Now, this user wrote, just a polite way of saying Nigerians, stop coming to Ghana. Thank you. Okay, now another user on X says, let's see what we have. Nothing but the truth. Thanks for praying for us, Jerry. It is really not easy. Now this user wrote, President John Mahama says the Ghanaians are praying for us every day so we don't all move to Ghana. Well, it sounds like a helping hand. You know, there is a little bit of pepper in that statement. He's basically saying stay in your house so our own house doesn't get full. Nigeria needs all the prayers she can get right now, though. Okay, well, still on this bit, this user wrote, you don't think say all well wishes, but actually Nasi finished with this. They don't pray for us because they care about us, but because they don't want us running to their country. Now, moving away from that, back here in Nigeria, yesterday we saw former Vice President Atiku Abubakar in a state station where he said that the 2027 presidential election may be his final attempt to become Nigeria's leader, citing his age and high stakes involved. Atiku, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in PDP in the 2023 election, made a remark during an interview yesterday evening. Responding to a question on whether turning 80 by 2027 would make the stakes higher for him, Atiku said it would likely be his last outing. Let's take a listen.
Now, you've been a central figure in Nigerian politics for decades, and by the time the election comes around in 2027, you'll be 80. Respectfully, I mean, this may be your last realistic shot at the presidency. Does that make the stakes higher for you this time?
Certainly, yes, because the stakes are higher because I believe that will be my last outing. And
so that's incontrovertibly
that's incontrovertible.
Fact.
That
Okay.
There you have it. So 2027 is going to be his last outing at becoming Nigeria's president. It's up to you, Nigeria. Now, this user on X says, let's see what we have. He never learns. It's never about what the people want. It's just personalized ambition to him. Another user reacting on X wrote, let's see what we have next. Atiku is blinded by self-ambition. He is salivating on the probability of winning on the back of the coalition, but Nigerians don't want him. Trying to force himself on Nigerians. Okay, alrighty. Now this user wrote on X, this man is very funny. So he thinks because of the broader party that we will give him an edge. No wonder he's an Arsenal fan. Oh wow, well, Stray Bullet just hits Arsenal fan wherever you are right now. But moving away from that, I feel like this is our picture of the day. A viral picture that has now gone viral. Former Senator Dino Melaye has returned to social media after he was heavily criticized over his outfit to the recent ADC 2026 convention in Abuja. Now, recall reporting that the former lawmaker had shared a series of pictures showing him arriving at the political gathering. The picture that you can see now, in a black shirt, a cap, sunglasses, and extremely wide flowing tan trouser. Now, this sparked reactions online. Let's take a look at the full outfits.
Ọmọ mi ni, àbúrò mi ni, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ni, ọ̀rẹ́ mi ní ṣe. Tó bá lọ́jọ́ lówó gidigidi, bàbá mi.
So I think I'm going to make this outfit for myself and for Harry as well, because I feel like he needs it. Well, reacting to this online, netizens took to the street of social media to put out their reaction. Well, this time around from the presidency. Now, Bayo Onanuga says, Dino Melaye, one of the unserious leaders of ADC. May God protect our nation from them. Oh my goodness. Now, this user wrote, he believes he can fly. What do you think? Well, reacting to this one says, to him, he is the best dressed. Election time, a job for the boys, a Surrey man out to work for Atiku. Now, finally on the story, this user says, fashion statement indeed. I beg, make una shift. Another one wrote, if this one enter power again, him on go worst. Oh my goodness, Nigerians not taking it lightly on X at all. But away from that, we move over to Bayelsa State, where supporters of President Bola Tinubu under the City Boys movement staged a large rally in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State on Wednesday, now drawing significant crowd of residents, while participants at the event chanted Tinubu till 2031, openly declaring their support for the president and expressing confidence in his leadership ahead of future political contests. Let's have a feel. Well, this is Nigeria. While some persons are for, others are against. Reacting to this online, netizens have been saying this. This one says, if the government has delivered good governance, these gyrations and jamboree would have been unnecessary. Ejiro Anthony on Facebook. Another user wrote online, half of the mass here are supporting ADC, but they just want to collect the rice and disappear. Tell me about it. Now, this user also on Facebook wrote, rent crowd, any groups with uniforms is rent crowd, which they will later be paid. Now, still on this beat, this user says, okay, so I think that's all the comments that we have in this story, but it's quite an interesting one. Every single time on social media, there is never a dull moment at all. Thank you so much for being part of the show. This is how we wrap things up this morning on TMI Socials. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. And from all of us on the team on this morning on ITV, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.